The University of Texas at El Paso College of Engineering, in collaboration with Halliburton, presents Fossil Fuels. Fossil fuels have been set as the foundation for primary energetic production in the world. Due to the high emissions of carbon dioxide to the atmosphere, there has been an increase of awareness. Fossil fuels are hydrocarbons formed from the remains of prehistoric animals and plants that lived hundreds of millions of years ago. This period is known as Carboniferous and is part of the Paleozoic era. There were swamps everywhere. Some of the plants who lived in that period were fern trees, calamites, and mosses. The land animals were primitive amphibians, reptiles, spiders, millipedes, land snails, and enormous dragonflies. The water animals were fish, clams, vigorous crustaceans, and mollusks. When these plants and animals died, they sank to the bottom of the seas and swamps and started to mix with sediments. While they were buried under layers of mud, rock, and sand, the decomposition process was very slow. Millions of years passed, and more layers were piled on. This process increased the weight and pressure, which mixed with high temperatures breaks the carbon bonds of the decomposing organic matter, which is what forms the fossil fuels. Coal is formed from the dead remains of trees, ferns, and other plants. In some areas, coal was formed from swamps covered by sea water. Oil and natural gas were created from organisms that live in the water and were buried under ocean or river sediments. In most areas, a thick liquid called oil formed first, but in deeper, hot regions underground, natural gas was formed. Some of this oil and natural gas began working its way upward through the Earth's crust until they ran into rock formations called cap rocks. They are dense enough to prevent them from seeping to the surface. It is from these cap rocks that most oil and natural gas is produced today. Theoretically, fossil fuels could be considered as a renewable source since they are being formed through natural processes as more animals and plants die and decompose into the Earth's sediment and crust. However, since this process takes millions of years, fossil fuels are considered to be a non-renewable source. The three primary forms in which fossil fuels are found are petroleum, coal, and natural gas. These fuels are found drilling and mining into the Earth's crust and into the sea. All three primary forms of fuels are greatly used in the production of electricity, fuels for machines with internal combustion engines such as cars, and many other products that can be derived mostly from petroleum. With the Industrial Revolution, coal and petroleum were used to fire steam engines. Then, the internal combustion engine was invented and the demand for gasoline and diesel was born. According to the American Petroleum Institute, more than half of the electricity produced in the United States comes from coal. 71% of petroleum is used in the transportation sector. In 2008, the industry, commerce, and residential areas together consume 31.4% of all U.S. energy produced, the bulk of it in form of natural gas and petroleum. Fossil fuels are widely used due to their convenience, storability and transportability, and high density of chemical energy. These attractive characteristics have allowed for rapid industrial development and a solid establishment of transportation and electricity production systems throughout the world. While the use of fossil fuels can be accounted responsible for this impressive technological growth, it is also held responsible for the rising environmental problems. The problem with fossil fuels is that the carbon dioxide levels increase in the atmosphere. This leads to the greenhouse effect. The Earth gets the energy from the sun in the form of sunlight. The Earth's surface absorbs some of this energy and heats up. The Earth cools down by giving off infrared radiation, but before all this radiation can escape, the greenhouse gases in the atmosphere absorb some of it, which makes the atmosphere warmer and the Earth as well. The consequences of the greenhouse effect is the rise of the sea levels, the extinction of different species due to the climate change, and the temperature rise in the world. All of these reasons have given a strong push to seek for different alternatives to ensure future growth. This alternative is currently known as sustainable energy. Thank you very much for watching. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe.